Let's Talk BL, a Boys Love podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. It is Sunday, Series Sunday, the day of the week where we talk all about one series and one series only, chock full of spoilers. So, if you have not watched this show, where have you been?
I feel like a lot of people were waiting to binge this show.
Interesting. I only saw people watching it.
Because I've been taking a lot of talks about getting spoiled and a lot because it was so hard to not be spoiled for this show. So hard.
Yeah.
Because people immediately would watch the show and then there would be no spoiler alerts. They would just get on social media and word vomit.
Yeah.
And if you watch this show, you know what I'm talking about because everybody was commiserating in the comments. But there were a lot of people that were like, yeah, this is precisely why I'm not even watching because you can't get spoiled if you have no idea what the spoilers are even talking about.
True. Yeah. Y'all, we're talking KinnPorsche, obviously.
Of course. You gotta.
The show has come to an end. It feels like a whirlwind.
Honestly, listen, hot take, but like, thankfully.
I know. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting series Sunday because I think we both agree that it was cool.
No, like, it was a good show.
I didn't hate it. And it wasn't it was a show. It was a show we watched.
I mean, I have more opinions than it was a show I watched.
Yeah,
which originated with Beloved in House I Do, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Series Sunday where I was like, this is just a show that I watched. I don't know what to say about it. I have more feelings about it than that.
I have a lot of feelings about it. It was a show. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the nuts and bolts before we really get into it because we're going to get into it. There's a lot of highlights in this show, I will say. So it just ended. It's on Ichi. I thought it was Ichi.
No, Ichi.
Oh, every time. There are 14 episodes. There's also a ton of behind the scenes clips. There's a lot of extras. So make sure you watch those because they're really interesting. It was directed by a group of people that are pretty cool that have a lot of GMMTV ties, which is always interesting. It stars Maya Lapo.
Yes.
Kinn and Porsche, obviously.
Yes, Smile is Kinn, Apple is Porsche.
Yes.
And then a whole host of other characters that are technically main characters. I guess Vegas and Pete are the other two. They're the second lead, right? If we were to highlight a second lead couple, I guess.
Honestly, we didn't get them until half the show was over. If you remember back
it was
to
the anticipation.
Here's the thing about this show is that I think I heard more on social media about this show than I actually remember watching the show.
Oh, I pretty vividly remember the show, but I think because from the filmmaking of it all.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Synopsis.
Let's do it.
The second son of a mafia boss, Kinn Tirapankul. Why we need his last name is beyond me. Beyond me. Whoever wrote this synopsis can fight me for that one.
One kid.
I'm just going to start this over. The second son of a mafia boss, Kinn, is fleeing from an enemy when he meets Porsche, an enterprising young waiter. Porsche agrees to help defend Kinn from his attackers for a price. Porsche's martial arts skills impress, and spurred on by his father, Kinn seeks to hire Porsche as one of his personal bodyguards. Porsche is opposed and rejects Kinn's offer despite his attempts at intimidation. It isn't until Porsche's family home and his ability to care for his brother are threatened that he acquiesces and moves on to the Tirapankul property. It's not a smooth transition to the unorthodox violent job, and his relationship with Kinn vacillates between strained and playful. When his feelings for Kinn take an unexpected turn, his work becomes even more high stakes. Okay.
Curious.
I have a lot of questions about where did you get this synopsis? What did you pull it from?
My drama list always.
Okay. Well, sometimes we pull it, if it's Vicky, sometimes we'll pull it straight from Vicky.
Yes, but what I've learned is my drama list has the Vicky synopsis.
So whoever wrote this synopsis.
Ichi have a synopsis?
I truly have no idea. I don't look at that when I go to play the episodes.
Just play it.
My question for whoever wrote the synopsis is who bought you your first thesaurus and was it a life-changing experience for you?
I mean, we're big fans of a thesaurus here.
Vacillates.
Vacillates. That's a good word. As someone who likes to use big vocabulary words, I appreciate it. I don't always get them right, but I enjoy words.
Trying.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about what we loved about this show. The comedy.
Apo. Oh yeah, the comedy
Well,
too.
which always came from Apo, I feel like.
No, the bodyguards are pretty funny.
Right.
It's not all Apo. No, for sure.
And of course, Tankhun.
Right. Tankhun is actually peak. Tankhun is funnier than Porsche's so much.
Yeah.
Fully. So it's actually almost never Apo.
I feel like the balance of the like depth of this show, like the like twists and turns of like the killing and the storyline with the comedy was really nice.
I mean, really the high point of this show was the comedy. I saw a lot of people when it first came out like really complaining about the comedy, and that was weird to me because the comedy is what made it a good show to me. I was like, no, this is why this show's entertaining, because honestly, here's the thing. If there was no comedy, it would have been cheesy.
Yeah.
Like it would have been this like cheesy mafia drama, because if you think about some of the lines and some of the dialogue in this show, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, you need that middle ground. I feel like the comedy is the middle ground between the romance and the like mafia of it all.
Right.
And so it brings it all together. Like it's definitely the like glue that holds the show together. Because remember, was it the first episode where they're on the boat and they're having this back and forth,
and he literally just jumps off the boat. He's like, I'd rather die.
And in that moment, because like I've never watched anything else Apo has done, I was like, oh my God, Apo can act. Like, holy cow, I am enthralled just watching him do his thing.
Apo's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
For sure.
I thoroughly enjoyed just watching him.
The other person in this show that it really is the only person in this show. If you watch the show if you watch a cut of this show,
yes,
watch the Tankhun cut.
I mean,
don't watch the KinnPorsche cut because
no needs that.
The problems. Don't watch the KinnPorsche cut because again, problems. Don't watch the VegasPete cut. And this might be a hot take because I see people who I think are reasonable on social being completely unreasonable about this couple. Just like think it through. Like I understand that the heart wants what the heart wants. I am the first proponent of the heart wants what the heart wants. Yeah. And like sometimes people are mean to you and you still talk to them anyways. And like I get that.
Yeah.
But
we all need some therapy, I think. Work through some issues.
Here's the thing. I go to therapy. I go to therapy once a week. And I think I would love that for Vegas and Pete. Yeah, I would love that for them.
Starting with individual therapy, which I think would lead them to uncoupling, but maybe then couples therapy if they decide to stay together.
So if you're going to watch a cut, watch the Tankhun cut because he truly, first of all, he's positioned as this like crazy person who has like PTSD because he got kidnapped, whatever, all this stuff. He is the only sane one in the whole show. Yes. He is the only one with appropriate reactions, right? Okay, so like it's comedic relief or whatever when he thinks that Pete has been like killed, right? He thinks he's been kidnapped and killed. And it's this supposed to be like this comedic moment when he's like really sad and going through it and like has this shrine.
Right.
That's an appropriate reaction to your friend being murdered by your cousin.
Right.
Or for you thinking that your friend was murdered by your cousin.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually an appropriate reaction.
Right.
Like, him crying when he thinks his dad was poisoned. That's an appropriate reaction. Like, everything that he does is actually the appropriate, like the real human appropriate reaction. Yes. So like him being painted as this like crazy person is insane to me.
Okay, let's talk about the KinnPorsche of it all. Let's start with the main couple.
Okay.
So their storyline. Here's the thing I will say about this show that from my experience is the reason that I said the social media took over from the show for me is that so many people were comparing the book to the show or the novel.
The novel, yeah.
The source material. And we talked about this on a recent episode about reading books versus watching a show. And everybody just wanted to compare what was going to happen in the show as it related to the books. And so
low-key, that's Bible's fault. Let's be honest.
And so you would have something happen in the show, and immediately people would mostly defend what was happening,
right? Because
based on the context of the book.
Viewers who had not watched the novel were like, ooh, this is problematic. Like, ooh, I don't love this.
Right.
And then you'd have novel readers jump in and be like, actually, no, it's fine. And this is fine. And everything's fine. And like, it's that meme. It was like the real life equivalent of that meme of like the dog with the coffee sitting in the burning house.
Yeah.
And he's like, everything's fine. Like that fully was novel readers defending this show so many times.
Yeah, which I think is a weird experience, because you can't just sit in the like thought that, oh, these boys are related or like, oh,
I mean, even before that, so like
other.
the start of their relationship, a lot of people, and we talked about this on our episode a little bit, like without naming shows, with Robbie and Trevor, the start of their relationship, it was sexual assault.
Right.
It just is what it is. Yeah. Right. And so like, we talked about this a little bit with Robbie and Trevor on our episode with them, that Pride episode, about like, that's actually like, that reflects like real life for so many people. But that being said, a lot of the people that watch the show are women. It's true. And like women just have like a different trigger, or like are louder about that trigger, I guess, on social. At least that's what Robbie was was like expressing to us when he was talking about it. And so I saw a lot of people really upset about that, about that scene and about the start of their relationship and about, like all of that. I agree with them. Like on a personal level, if I'm looking at the couples in this show, I'm like, yeah, I'm never, because I like Porsche so much. This is why. Yeah. As a character, I think Porsche is a great character. I mean, is Apo like ridiculously handsome? Yes. 100% it's also about Apo being ridiculously handsome. Yes. But I really like Porsche as a character. He takes care of his brother. He works really hard. He's funny. Yeah. He like is good at his job. He takes pride in what he does. Right. Like he's like, right. Like he's a nice guy. He has friends. Yeah. Like he's good to his friends. He's not like mean to his friends. Right. Like he's a good guy. Yeah. He's a good guy. And he's forced into this weird situation to like be someone's bodyguard, and he doesn't want to do it, and he's being like blackmailed into it, but he does it for the sake of everyone else, right? And this was my same thing with We in You're My Sky, where I was like, he just does so much for other people. It makes me really like him because I love those characters that, to me, when I watch them, it looks like, or it seems to me like they as a character really think about how their actions affect other people, rather than just like doing a thing and being like, well, I can't, because, okay, so Kinn does this a lot, where he basically, like, he doesn't use these words, but he basically says like, I can't control how you perceive my actions, because that's hurtful. And so I really like Porsche, and I think Porsche deserves better than Kinn. I do. Yeah. And so because of the way that relationship started, I was never gonna be on board with this, no matter how lovey-dovey, and like jokingly I'd be like, he basically Stockholm syndromed him, right? Like once we did get lovey-dovey. And like the scene in the bathroom when they're fighting, and then like it's like that's not an appropriate way to handle your emotions.
It's like the Clune Dow situation where it's like, use your words. Right. You need to say the things. Yeah. You can't jack each other off to make it better.
Right. Sorry. Like it doesn't work that way. If he's like, I never should have loved you, and then he says, well, you're like a slut, essentially, is what he said to him. Like in that moment, you say, that hurt my feelings, or like, you're being mean to me. And then your response to that isn't, I'm going to force you to physically love me. Yeah. You have a conversation. So I don't love Kinn's like reaction to things. And I can already, like, I could feel it. I can hear the, the tip tapping on the phone in the comments already.
I love it.
With the like, well, but it's his upbringing, and that's how he would. Okay, I get it. I just want
better for Porsche.
I want better for Porsche. I like Porsche so much as a character. I really do.
Let Kinn and Vegas be a thing.
Kinn and Vegas?
Yeah.
I mean, I do like that Vegas is at least nice to him.
Yeah. Yeah, Kinn is a bad guy. Like we did get a little character development when they were like out in the wilderness. And it was that episode was an interesting experience for me because I just sat there like I still am not okay. Like I get that we're humanizing Kinn, and I get that, you know, we're so Porsche, after he first hooks up or is sexually assaulted by Kinn, he has this like going through it, right? Like he had his
another scene where you can just see that Appo is such an amazing actor.
He had like his gay awakening, and he's like grappling with like, oh, do I have feelings for this man, or like, you know, was I forced into this situation? And then we get lost in the woods, a la Trapped.
Yes.
And we have we have a nice little conversation. They did use their words.
He said he was sorry.
There was an apology. And I will say from that moment on, you do see a little bit of sticking to that character development where there's not.
He tried a little harder.
He tried a little harder.
He did. I will give him that. But here's the, he still is like, and it's a BL, so it wouldn't have been a BL without this problem.
Right.
But there's a communication issue where it just keeps coming up time and time and time again. Where like if he would just like say the thing to Porsche, it would be fine. But he like chooses not to. And on the other hand as well, Porsche doesn't really trust Kinn. And like that's difficult to be in a relationship and not trust. Like you see this in episode 13 when he like gallivants off with Vegas because he's trying to figure out like the death of his parents, and Porsche and Kinn runs up, and Porsche hops on the back of that motorcycle and rides off with Vegas. Yeah. He trusts. Think about it like this: he trusts the man that tried to murder his little brother more than he trusts his boyfriend. Yeah. Like, if that's not problematic, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
the Porsche Vegas of it all was so fascinating because Vegas is a real bad dude. Like, he's like the worst of the worst
for sure.
And so it's so interesting to see him in relation to Porsche as well in relation to Pete to because he goes, it's that trope of he goes so soft for the ones that he really cares about, or he pretends to go soft because that's who Vegas is, right? Like the whole trope is that like he proposes to all these boys so that like he keeps them on the hook, right? He gave a ring to all those boys. He gave a ring to Tawan. He gave a ring to whoever so that he can kind of control their emotions.
Who else did he give a ring to? I don't remember that.
So the implication was that he gave a ring to Kinn and Big and like all these, like literally all the bodyguards, all of the men that Kinn slept with had rings that was implied that came from Vegas.
Big got with Vegas?
I don't know.
When was that? I feel like I missed so much in the show because I do not remember Big getting with Vegas.
It might not have been Big. It was definitely Kinn.
I don't remember Ken getting with Vegas. I remember Ken like working for him and like double crossing for the power.
So this is what I'm talking about with how social media gives you so much more context. Like somebody had made a graphic of, it was 4 guys, and one of them was Kinn, one of them was Tawan, one of them was one of the guys that Kinn hooked up with that was nameless, played by Ollie. He had a ring, and then I think one of the other guys that Kinn hooked up with also had a ring. And so according to the social media and the novel, Vegas took every boy that Kinn ever hooked up with.
He wanted his like sloppy seconds or whatever, right?
So this is what I'm saying. Like
none of that was in the show, though. This makes me feel way better because I was like, I do not remember any of that happening in the show.
But the rings were in the show, and so it's one of those things where it's like the context clues of the novel readers played into, which I think is why we didn't get a lot of script development, because I think the script writers went into this being like, oh well, people will have known. They know the context.
I don't know about all that because they also changed things. They changed some pretty significant things that novel readers were upset about. So like you have to pick one. Either you're going straight up off the novel and you're assuming people are going to have the context of the novel, or you're going at it as it's a completely different work that's just inspired by one or the other. You can't have both.
Yeah. There's so much.
So speaking of the boys that Vegas, fucked over. There's no other word for it.
Literally.
Tawan wasn't a bad guy.
No.
I'm going to say it. Tawan was not a bad guy.
We love
Tawan
Tawan.
was a victim. I don't love Tawan's actions. No, Tawan did bad things.
Right.
Here's the thing. This is just like the sort of like realization I came to with Dome. Dome did bad things. Dome's not a bad person. But it's the same thing with Tawan. Like, I don't love Tawan's actions. Like, don't kidnap a 17-year-old.
Right.
No matter what has happened to you.
I will say we did
don't kidnap a 17-year-old.
We did get one of the best lines in the show from him kidnapping the 17-year-old.
What did he say?
Vegas says.
Oh, right.
Oh, so
yeah.
good.
So, but Tawan was a victim. Tawan was fully a victim who was, for lack of a better word, fully dickmatized, which is one of my pet peeves in life.
Yeah.
I got married so young, and so I have gone through life, much of my life, going out with my friends who were looking, to find a relationship, or to find even just a hookup. Cool. Right. And like, I have been the solid wing woman because I got married so young, whatever. Like, I was like, I'm a great wing woman. I could pick up what you are throwing down. I get it. Like, you drop me the hint and it's on.
She'll make it happen.
But the problem is when you become so dickmatized that you act like an asshole.
Yeah.
And it happens. It happens to the best of us. And this is what has happened to Tawan. But he took it a step further. Like, he became psychotic. Like, he became so dickmatized that he became psychotic.
You add mental health issues and dickmatize, and you get a very troubled young man.
So, but again, I maintain Tawan, and you see it in the realization in that warehouse that he genuinely believed that he was doing this for the man that he loved because he needed this, right? It he needed it for his vital safety in life. Like, he truly believed that. Right. I don't know if that's how it went down in the novel. Did not read the novel. For me, those are two very different things.
Listen, you can't teach common sense, and that's discernment is not everyone's strong suit.
Although,
so he was taking what Vegas was saying to him at face value.
Not necessarily, because he also, we see this with Vegas. Like, Vegas is very emotionally and mentally manipulative.
Right.
So that's why I say he was a victim. It's like Vegas manipulated him. Like, Vegas got in his head and gaslit him and messed with him, right? That's not Tawan's failing. It is not his failing for being manipulated, for being gaslit, for being
do you think
essentially seduced into this.
Do you think he knew Vegas's history though?
I mean, I don't know, but that's the art of a master manipulator,
right.
is somebody who can do that, and Vegas can do that.
Yes.
And so that's not Tawan's failing. It's no one's. You are not a failure as a person, and it doesn't make you a bad person or a stupid person or a mentally weak person because someone has managed to get in your head and gaslight you and manipulate you.
Right.
And so Tawan was a victim. Tawan wasn't a bad guy. Tawan did bad things as a result of Vegas. All of this should be placed all of the misguided anger towards Tawan really confused me when I saw it. It's because I was like, this is on Vegas. Vegas used Tawan like a gun.
Yeah. Also, Tawan, I thought was a very likable character because he was funny.
He was so funny.
He was funny.
Oh my gosh.
He was a little crazy, and I think it was just entertaining to watch. And so props to Na, because that character, I really enjoyed that character.
He was a great character.
Yeah.
And it wasn't his fault. Hot take, Team Tawan.
Okay, let's take it to VegasPete, because y'all, VegasPete, man.
VegasPete.
They were so hyped. We waited 6 or 7 episodes.
So many episodes.
And everybody kind of knew it was coming. Again, I had heard so much about their story, about what was to come, what we were going to see, who they were as a couple. I just was it was one of those situations where they were so hyped that I was like, Okay, we get
I
like
was
5
excited
minutes
for
of screen
it.
time every episode, and I'm like, I want more from them because like everybody's telling me they're such an interesting couple, and like yes, they're very interesting, but we got so little screen time of them.
Here's the thing. I was excited for Bible Build. VegasPete, however, is a completely different animal.
Yeah,
Use that word purposely.
nice.
But
But we're not animals anymore.
we're not pets anymore.
We've established that.
So
I will
I
give this
have
show
liked
some
Bible-
character development. There's tiny bits of character development in there.
There are some things that you can't come back from, right? There are some things that you cannot character develop your way out of. Now, I'm not a proponent of like cancel culture. I
We
think
had
cancel
this
culture
conversation
is
around
silly.
the KinnPorsche thing too.
But there are certain actions, certain things you can't come back from. Prime example, a boy or an actor who is truly so dear in my heart now. It came as a surprise to me. Kauna in Tarn Type.
Yes.
There are some things you can't come back from. Long can never come back from that, right? Like you can never character develop your way out of those actions.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Vegas.
Mm.
Like there are some things that you can never character develop your way back out of, and that's what I think has happened with Vegas.
Interesting.
And so like yeah, in the sense that like I want Pete to get what Pete wants because I like Pete. I think that for his own health and safety, we should step in and like put Vegas in that tower that Porsche's mom is in. And we pull this whole move.
She's
like
in the
for
room next
safety.
door.
Yeah.
And Pete can go visit him occasionally.
No, we pretend like he's dead.
Oh, okay.
for 18 years. And it's for safety, you guys. Like it's for safety.
I get that.
Yeah. No, I mean I was excited for Bible and Build because I have liked Bible since they kind of announced him. Like I looked when they announced this whole cast when Beyond Cloud took over the production because like if you remember the history of this production, it is fraught.
Yes.
I
am so impressed we even got a show.
But so when Beyond Cloud took over and we had some recastings, I really was like, okay, let me see this cast because one of my favorite actors in the world got recast. And I was like, this is a bummer. Don't know that I love this.
Right.
That was Gameplay recast as Barcode.
Yeah.
So I went in and I really was like looking at the cast. And from the time, like back then, I was like, oh, I like this boy. I was like, I think this boy is funny.
Yeah.
Like, I like him. I like Bible. In fact, we did an episode with Shacky. Shout out Shacky. If you don't follow him, go follow him. Watch his reactions. He's awesome. His KinnPorsche reactions were amazing. He did them with his mom.
Cute.
Hilarious.
Into it.
But so where I even said, like, I made this comment where I was like, he is the good book. Which I found out later it's because his birthday is on Christmas or the day before Christmas or the day after Christmas. His birthday's around Christmas, apparently. And this is why he's named Bible. Anyways.
Tracks.
I was super excited about Bible. I thought Build was super cute before I even knew he was on Cute Boy Thailand.
Before you got taken by the saxophone.
Even when I saw him play the saxophone, I didn't realize that's who that was because I was I was seatized. For all of Cute Boy Thailand, I was seatized. The only one that broke me out of the seatization. Seatization.
Nice.
The only one that brought me out of the seatization was Mark Poom. It was Treasure.
Red tracksuit.
Yeah, Treasure. I was gonna try and sing a little bit of it, but now when I hear the word Treasure, I think of the Atlas song, and so now I don't know the words to Bruno Mars's Treasure. There's a lot happening right now.
There's so much.
Anyways. I always thought Build was like cute. Didn't really know much about him. I know right now it's like a we don't talk about Bruno kind of situation.
Listen, we're gonna think through some things and come back a better person. We're into K-pop. We know how this works.
Listen, I'm not into cancel culture. I think people grow and change. I think this situation is one that you can character develop out of. This is not a point of no return situation. If
I
you've
need that on a t-shirt.
If you've truly learned your lesson and you're truly sorry and you don't do it again, we good.
At least erase your internet history.
Here's the thing, boys. The people can find the things.
We can Google. We know so much information.
And every time we
will never
interview
tell.
these boys, we do. If you're listening to Let's Talk Bill, you know we play Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
We'll have the most basic information. We'll be like, "You're 5'10," and they'll be like, "Oh my god, how do you know?" Boys.
Google Translate. Google all the Google.
Boys.
If you have skeletons in your closet, we will find them.
Here's the thing. Everyone in this world has skeletons in their closet because
Totally.
everyone in this world was a stupid teenager at one point in their life.
Thank God the internet wasn't I'm dating myself here and I don't care because thank God the internet wasn't a thing. Like the social media wasn't a thing when I was of the age to be doing super stupid stuff because man.
All my stupid stuff on the internet is like, I was really into soccer. So it's like a lot of like hatred towards other soccer teams. Like it's a lot of like really strongly worded, like
it's very specific.
It's really strongly worded hatred towards like FC Dallas. For example,
I've also never been that person that feels the need to like shout at the internet about like woe is me.
Well, I really needed people to know that the Houston Dynamo are 2 times better than FC Dallas, and if you're a Dynamo fan, you understand that reference precisely.
I love that.
2 times better. So
I love that.
I also am a Liverpool fan, so really hate Manchester United. So there's a lot of strongly worded Man U hate out there on the internet from me, probably.
I feel like
which will be really disappointing for a lot of these BL boys. But it is what it is. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I watch soccer and I like the teams I like. So
you like what you like.
Anyways, I was really excited about Bible and Build.
Nice.
Vegas and Pete, and I kept watching it and I was like, how are they gonna do this?
Yeah.
I remember watching the show and being like, okay, I bought into Pete. I bought into Pete.
I don't want any romance for Vegas.
I bought into Pete from the time I saw his little tushy with that little boxing situation.
We shipped him so hard with Porsche.
Yeah. I love those fun friends. Porsche Pete.
Best roommates.
Yeah, team Porsche Pete for sure. Yes, from the moment I saw his little tushy and he was like his little boxing, whatever, like I was like, yeah, I like him. He's funny, he's cute, he's helpful to Porsche, and we all know I love Porsche. And then we met Vegas, and I was like, okay. I was like, maybe Pete will soften him, and maybe this is how we're gonna become. Right. And I even was still buying into it from the time that they meet in the temple. They make merit together.
Yes.
Even then I was like, okay, this is cute. And Vegas was like being nice to Porsche. We hadn't seen the true depths of Vegas yet. I really thought, I was like, maybe he's just bad on the surface. Maybe he's just one of those like, I'm a bad boy, but really he's a good boy. Like the good boy, like, you know.
No. Not a chance.
No. And I kept hoping. And
bad dude.
Listen, justice for the porcupine. Justice for the porcupine.
It's true. The hedgehog?
Hedgehog, sorry. Hedgehog.
A porcupine would have made
it
more
would have
sense.
been way better if he had a porcupine. Porcupines are way bigger, though.
Yeah. But a hedgehog. The hedgehog got more.
Justice for the hedgehog.
Got more burial than the bodyguard.
Are hedgehogs a popular pet in Thailand? Because a hedgehog also came up as a thing in Love Stage.
Yeah. I don't know. They're cute. Okay, let's talk other side characters because there were so many side characters.
Oh, wait, I will say the twists and turns in KinnPorsche were not really twisty and turny. I kind of called all of them pretty quick, except for when I thought Vegas died in episode 14. I will say, when I thought Vegas died in episode 14, when he gets shot, when he's talking to Pete by the pool, I was like, no way. He's not really dead. I was like actually legitimately going through it in that moment. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And then he wasn't actually dead.
No, because we got to get more VegasPete.
Obviously. And Macau, apparently.
Macau is adorable.
Macau is so cute.
Oh my gosh. I love Macau.
Ta, right? Ta. I think, yeah.
So the side characters, we have the best character, Tankhun.
Tankhun, truly, there is no other man in this show.
No.
They're all useless except for Tankhun.
I want a Tankhun spinoff.
It's 100% useless that Kinn is running the main family now because all he's doing is banging the minor family. Who is his family?
I feel like Vegas.
Tankhun should be running that shit.
I feel like Vegas and Kinn definitely had some moments.
Ew.
I don't.
No.
Listen,
Tankhun should be running that shit, and I need a Tankhun spinoff. It's just about Tankhun. Kinn and Porsche aren't even allowed to be there. No one else is allowed to be there.
His
You
little
can have
bodyguards.
Pole, an arm,
Yep.
and Tankhun.
Yes.
That's it.
Those three.
No one else.
I really bummed that they didn't develop Time and Tay more.
Me too.
There was supposed to be a throuple situation, which turns
No, it
out
wasn't
there was
throupling.
cheating.
It was cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With who? Who was? Do we even
I think
know?
it was supposed to be Pole or arm. Maybe it was one of the other bodyguards.
Okay.
I believe. I could be wrong.
So disappointed that we didn't get more of Time and Tay.
I know. Maybe because it's very obvious there will be a season 2.
Right.
Maybe we'll get more of them in season 2 because us. Like he is the moment. He is the movement.
He showed up in That's My Candy, which I still need to watch.
I mean, he's truly outstanding. A visual.
Yeah.
If KinnPorsche were a boy band, which like they are now, apparently, he would be the visual.
Yeah. Accurate.
Yeah, I'm bummed about that for sure. Also bummed we didn't get like more of Erica. Erica pops up in episode 14.
Girlfriend.
She's badass.
Yes.
And I love her.
Yeah. I also wanted more Sprite, who played, what was her name? The bartender, the bar owner.
Yes.
She was magical. Her sweet relationship with Porsche was so fun. I thought they developed Porsche's home life really well, so that you knew why he was so grounded and didn't get kind of lost in the chaos of the mafia.
Right.
Because they go back to that bar quite a bit, which, speaking of the locations.
Yeah, whoever did location scouting for this show, you deserve a raise.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like the bar, the hotel / house. I love that they took a giant like hotel and made
they were
it
like,
their
this
house.
is their house. They were like, this is their house.
I mean, that tracks.
And yeah. So the bar is called Iron Balls Gin Parlor. So if you're in Thailand and you want to go, that's where you can go. Track it down. And then the hotel, I'm going to tell you what the hotel is.
Yeah, tell us.
Hold on.
The rooms in that hotel. So the hotel is closed.
The hotel is called Rosewood Bangkok. It is closed. You cannot book a room there. Trust me. I have looked at their calendar like all the way out through like 2024.
Yeah.
They're closed. But at the Rosewood Bangkok, restaurants are open. Yeah. The restaurants and bars. And the restaurants and bars do serve as like a part of the house in the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The filmmaking was so enjoyable. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, and also let's talk about that SpawnCon.
The bread. I love how we have two visible sponsors. The bread and Maserati. I mean, listen, if I owned a bread company and I saw like a way to get in on the ground. Oh, yes, the hair dye. And I saw a way to get in on the ground floor, because that's clear what happened here, right? Is they were like, oh, yeah, we'll like throw you some money. Like when Beyond Cloud was trying to like get things moving. Mad respect. Because they also make them do like the weirdest like brand ship work things, like out of series content.
Do we think that Mile owns the bread company?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I hadn't thought of that.
Because when Mile Appo,
because he's not getting paid, right?
Right. Because oh my God. Because when Mile Appo were on Going Natty Dream, they also had Bread SpawnCon for that. And so maybe like Mile owns that.
Maybe. You guys, Mile's getting paid. I guess that's the joke. Like, y'all know he's getting paid, right? Like he's an executive producer of the show. He's actually getting paid more than the other actors. Like,
I've never seen more hype and more just like what are they called? What do they call them? Like couch warriors for a show than I have seen for KinnPorsche and every single one of these actors. Literally every actor, every character in this show had someone who was ready to fight tooth and nail to defend their character.
Oh yeah.
Which, hey, like the show did its
I would
job.
die for Torn / Suya. So like I feel you. Yeah. I would literally like, I am so delulu over Suya. Now, I have talked to Suya. If you've watched Let's Talk BL, you know I have taken that flimsy thread and milked it for all it's worth to be able to talk to the boy that I enjoy. He's a nice boy. He's a good boy. He could be a terrible person.
He's not perfect. He's still a person, but like,
he could be a terrible person. I'm Delulu enough. I would die for him fully. And You're My Sky did that. Like, You're My Sky / Cute Boy Thailand did that.
Swim in hot garbage. Like, he doesn't need to throw the hot garbage on me. He could.
I would go find the hot garbage and I would pour it on myself, because how dare assuming he would touch it? Like, how dare? First of all. No, so like I get it. The moral of this story is that like I get it, but also like, you guys, Miles getting paid.
But also the funniest part of it all is that y'all, like, these characters are awful people.
Right, Kinn is terrible.
They're like, you're defending the worst of the worst. It's so wild. Y'all, you can enjoy a show and you can enjoy characters and you can like support actors without defending them as people.
Right. Yeah. So like this harkens back to the back in my day. We did not know everything about our celebrities. You know, we didn't know everything about them, right? because social just wasn't as prevalent. Like, Instagram was much more curated.
Right.
TikTok didn't exist. It was Vine. And even
I feel like the line was more clear, where they would do interviews or People magazine would do a feature on them and we were given the information. Whereas
curated information.
Right. Whereas like we're given curated information, but through Instagram, and we use Instagram. And so we think like, oh, these boys are just like us. Right. And like they're casual.
You think
like,
it's everything.
This is cool. And like, y'all, that's all curated. It's everything we see publicly is curated.
It's really easy to assume and feel like you know everything about these people because that's the nature of it. But you can like a show, and some I will say of the VegasPete stands are handling this like Bible situation or this build situation really well. Whereas they're like, I like the show, I like the character, I'm not going to sit here and like defend him or his actions. And like, that's okay. You can still like his work, right? Like, you can still like the thing that he did, because this is where it comes down to, and we've talked about this in our ships episode. The character is not the boy. The character is not the boy. The character is not the boy. So Pete is not Build. Right? So like, if you like Pete, it's okay to still like Pete. You don't have to be like, he's the best, most perfect boy that ever boyed, you know?
Yeah, I will say like probably 90% of actors in the States specifically, I think are the worst humans ever.
Now I will say Stat is the most perfect boy that has ever boyed, and like, you can fight me on that.
But like, you know, I don't look to Leonardo DiCaprio for my moral compass, but I can surely appreciate Titanic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it would be difficult for you anyways. You'd have to like search for him.
Oh my god. Out of control. And so maybe that's like, it's just a different mindset that we have going into entertainment and media, is that like, I'm not looking to them to like be my moral guide. I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy this entertainment, and if they're shitty people, that sucks, but like, I can still enjoy a show.
Yeah, here's the thing too. Like, you can think somebody's cute and they can also be a like not a person that you would hang out with in real life. Like, that's okay. Because remember when this like serial killers were like the thing, right? Everyone is in this, and like, there are a few serial killers that are objectively attractive.
This took a turn. So I feel like it's so applicable though, because like Vegas.
So like, there are some serial killers that are like objectively the human face of them is attractive. But yeah, I'm not going to be like, he's a great guy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's talk about
Kinn and Porsche or the incest? Which one are we going to tackle next?
Let's talk Kinn and Porsche.
Okay. Oh, Jeff Satter.
Satter.
The things.
I'm glad this got recast, because I wouldn't want this for
gameplay and Jeff. No. Yeah.
It wouldn't have made sense, because
I think gameplay would have eaten this role up. Like, gameplay would have killed this for sure.
Here's how I feel about KinnPorsche as a whole in relation to this, is that like, it's confusing, I think, for BL stans, because BL world has such a very specific culture, right? And for me, I don't think KinnPorsche, like people were trying to fit KinnPorsche into the square hole, and KinnPorsche very much feels like a round hole, a round peg. And so like I don't want to ship any of these boys. Like I don't want to see them do ship work. Like I don't want to follow, like, so it was weird because you were taking Jeff Barcode, and you were trying to make them a ship outside of the show, which like doesn't need to happen.
I ship Tankhun and Elizabeth.
So it's one of those things where the storyline for Kim and Porchay was so...
Oh, I hate that storyline. I hate it so much. From the moment. So first of all, I think Barcode
is unnecessary.
I think the Barcode is a precious, sweet summer child. He's an angel on earth.
An actual high schooler.
He is 17 years old and he ticks the talks from his high school classroom. And it's precious.
His public high school classroom.
It is
so cute.
Precious. Like he's a puppy.
Yeah.
He is like a little baby puppy with like a butterfly on its nose. Yeah. This is Barcode as a human. Now, as soon as I saw what was going down with Kim, Jeff's character, I was like, oh, he's going to hurt this boy. Oh, he's going to hurt him so bad. Yeah. And I was like, I am not looking forward to watching Jeff. I love Jeff Satter so much. I love Jeff Satter so deeply. Now, I've seen Jeff murder before.
True.
So, spoiler, he shit. But I just was not looking forward to watching him crush the soul of this child. Yeah. And I knew it was coming as soon as that like giant portrait of himself rolled off and revealed his like red thread, right? Like discovery board. Now, first of all, I need to know where to get a giant Jeff canvas. So if anybody has any hot leads on that, let me know. Yeah. Because I fully need that in my house. But then when you roll it back, it just reveals a bunch of pictures of instead. Yes. Anyways, this is architectural plans. Yeah. I was not looking forward to it. And then we have this, but I knew the whole time watching it that like Kim is just using Porchay, right? He's a means to an end for him. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I get it.
Not cool,
but like I understand the character and the motivation, and I'm cool with him being a baddie, right? I'm okay with him being like a bad guy. Right. And then we have this scene, and and he's in love with him, and they're cuddling, and they've spent the night, and there's the cheek kiss, and I was like, oh no. I was like, even if he is just using him as a means to an end, because it hadn't yet been revealed, which we get the reveal in like probably at like 12-ish, that he actually cares about Porchay, right? That it's not just like a means to an end. Right. I was like, this is a 17-year-old boy. I was like, in the show, he's 17.
And Kim is like,
it's not
25?
Just Barcode, right? Like, this is not Barcode. Right. Like, Barcode is 17, but younger players play older characters.
Actually, do we know how old Kim is?
Yeah, he's a high school Kim. Oh, Kim. All we know is that he's an alumni of the college that Porchay went to go tour. Okay. Because that's why he was there performing at the college at the Discovery Day thing. Yeah. So it's like he's a 17-year-old boy. Even if this is a means to an end, this is the wrong means. Like, because here's the thing. I feel like it would have been different because the question came up. I can't remember who I was having this conversation with. Maybe Robbie? Someone. I really thought we were going to make it a whole episode without this name popping up. Chris. Chris was 16 years old when he filmed You're My Sky.
Right.
16 years old. So, by the way, if you're watching You're My Sky and you're like, Dome's so hot, like, I feel like you and I need to have a private conversation. But Chris was 16 years old when he filmed You're My Sky. Right. Porchay, who plays Wee, not Porchay of KinnPorsche. Yes, I just realized this could start to get very confusing.
Tanatorn.
Yes. Porchay, Tanatorn, Chironarat.
Yeah.
That boy. Tanatorn C of IG.
Yes. Was 20.
Was 19. 19 turning 20. A grown-up and a 16-year-old playing these characters. Yeah. Difference is the characters they were playing, actually, Chris was playing a character older than we, right? Yeah. Dome is older than we.
Right.
So like
She's playing like a 23-year-old in theory.
right, and the same thing happens in
Love Mechanics?
Love by Chance. No, Love by Chance.
Well, the same thing happens
In Love Mechanics. Well, no, in Love Mechanics, he is still playing a high schooler. So that's of the KinnPorsche thing. He's not in college yet. He's still in high school. He's studying. He's wearing his little high school shorts.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about like characters being older, playing an older
I'm
version.
specifically talking about minors.
Okay.
So yeah, no, Yin and War are both grown ups. War is just like 52.
True.
Yeah.
Love by Chance, yeah.
Love by Chance, same thing with Saint and Perth,
We're
right?
17 when they filmed, 16, 17.
Saint was older, Saint was grown up.
No, they're the same age.
Perth was younger.
You always do this. They're the same age.
Are they really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Saint is like 20, 21.
So that also,
they were both teenagers.
They're both teenagers.
Yeah.
It's one thing for an actor that's a teenager to be playing an older role, to be playing this character, blah blah blah. Because on a film set, like you guys, they're not actually like doing it. Like they're not actually right. Like
they're actors. I know there was a bunch of issue with Jeff making the choice for his character to kiss Porchay,
but like it's not real life.
Oh, they're acting.
So like I feel like I wouldn't have the same problem with Kim and Porchay if the character Porchay was not a 17-year-old boy being used, being like, again, same thing with like Vegas and all his slew of boys, being like gaslit and emotionally manipulated and being used as a means to an end. It's like it's not okay to use kids like that in any like setting. So I am not a huge fan of Kim and Porchay. And then in that finale at the end, when they were like, when he sends that video, when Kim sends that video, like, bro, first of all, you crushed his spirit so much he almost didn't like go to school, right? To like do the thing. He almost didn't go to the interview to like
He threw the thing away. He didn't actually go. Right?
I think he ended up like rescheduling because I'm pretty sure didn't somebody find it like crumpled in the garbage and they were like, "Hey man,
I don't remember.
You need to be cool." Right, so
Jeff would destroy my
dreams.
He's
crushed this poor kid's soul and like essentially is ruining his life as a means to an end, and like that's just not cool. And now this kid has like basically, so we have this scene outside the house where Porchay is like, but like P Kim, like I love you, whatever. And Kim does the right thing. He walks away. As the grown up in the situation, he did the right thing fully. And Porchay is like crying. He's going through it, but whatever. Like that's gonna happen. And in this moment, Kim is finally doing the right thing. And then Porchay starts to get over him. He's like, "Screw you, dude! You ruined my life.
Dyed your hair.
You hit me with your car. You called my boobs gross. You're the reason I drink. You are the reason I live to forget."
What is that from?
The Office.
Oh, cute.
No, he fully was like, "Bye, boy, bye."
Yeah.
And then Kim sends him this stupid video of him singing to him
through Facebook. So Ty.
And listen, no matter what Jeff Satter ever did to me, if he sent me a video of him singing an acoustic song to me, being like, "Why don't you stay?" Yeah,
I would risk death.
Risk death to love him, and so I'm just like, Kim, no. Also, Kim, you're cousins. Kim, for so many reasons.
Well, then that leads right into the relations, the familial relations we all have.
Relations.
I mean, it's the mafia. It's like the royal family. We got to keep it in the bloodline. I mean, we're not keeping it in the bloodline because like we've adopted.
Okay, but clearly, here's the thing. I'm adopted. And so it's just so everyone knows, as somebody that is adopted, this is my real life.
Yeah.
You saying, "Oh, but they're not blood related, they're not real family." Dude, that actually sucks. Just so you know, like I'm at peace with being adopted. Like my family is my family, like regardless of what you think about the blood that runs through our veins.
Right.
Adopted family is family. 100%. I am adopted. I was adopted as a kid, right? Like I almost in this exact same situation. My family is my family as an adopted person. And so seeing people on the internet, again, like I'm a grown up that goes to therapy once a week and like
also like they're not having children, so like having like
it's still
the blood
incest.
relation doesn't matter.
It
as
does
much.
because no, it right. Like they're still family. They are
Right,
still
yeah.
family. There's still a problem with it. And
Right.
so like again, I go to therapy once a week. I have been adopted for a long time, was adopted a long time ago. I am very much at peace with like my family, although we do not share blood, is my family.
Yeah, right.
But going on the internet and watching people rage and get angry and be like, but they're not really family because the mom was adopted. Dude, just so you know, for every adopted person, that sucks to read. What you are doing is you're saying adopted families aren't real families. And that sucks.
Well, because
now,
again,
you're
they're
wrong.
justifying.
What I'm telling you is you're wrong. As an adopted person, you're wrong.
They're trying to justify these actors playing these characters because I think that's the crossover, is that they want to ship these people in real life.
And they feel weird about it.
And they feel weird about it. And again, these actors are not these characters. These characters are not these actors. And so you can be a fan of Mile Apo and not agree with Kinn and
the
Porsche
idea of
being
cousins
together.
hooking up.
Yeah, it's weird.
Now, all of this to be said, there is an argument to be made for the people that are like, but they never met, right? They're not blood related, which doesn't mean anything, by the way.
Except they did, because there's a photo of them, like with the uncle. The kids never met.
Right? So what them saying about Kinn and Porsche never meeting, it's true. They never met. They didn't know that, right? Like even as kids, right? That actually potentially is a valid argument because this is like, I watched a documentary about this, like a known like mental thing that happens, particularly for like people who go find their birth parents and they grew up without them, whatever. You form this attachment, even though you didn't grow up with them, whatever.
Right.
And it would be fine because because also, okay, here's how you know it's messed up, is because in episode 14 or 13 or 14, one or the other, Porsche is holding a gun to Papa Corn's head. And he's like, why would you do this to us? He's like, never mind that you covered up my parents' death.
Yeah.
But if she's your sister, why would you do this to me and Kinn? Why would you let us be together? Because he knows it's wrong because they're related. Right. And he just goes, oh, well, she's a foster sister, whatever. Yeah. She's adopted. He's she's an adopted sister. Okay. At this point, Porsche has acknowledged this is wrong. Like, we're family. This is wrong.
I mean, but Porsche has clearly been allowed to, he's gaslit himself at this point because
but
all the things.
Here's the thing, if it was just that like she was adopted
me either,
if it was just that like she was adopted and then she died and then there was this whole whatever split, because what I never understood is why the dad would be cool with it, because like this argument that Kinn and Porsche never met even as kids, there's no way they would have that like family bond, right? Because like there's not the blood there and there's not the being raised together bond, right? Like there's none of that bond.
Clearly the dad feels no parental obligation to any of these children.
Clearly like this is how you know Corn is the ultimate villain in this show, is because then it's revealed that he's actually been keeping this person who he feels in his heart is his real sister because she's adopted. And by the way, adopted siblings are still siblings.
You're not homophobic if you don't let your son bang his cousin.
Right. He's been keeping his sister in this ivory tower for the past whatever, like decade and a half. And like, he's like, she's my sister. I need to protect her. So he feels this family bond. And he keeps being like, everything I did for my nephew. And he keeps calling Porsche his nephew. And I'm like, weird. So you see him as your family.
I think my favorite.
It's so weird,
I think my favorite discourse from this whole thing was that learned a lot about cultures around the world, because the conversations where people are like, in my culture, families bang regularly. They were like, in my culture, cousins apparently get together.
I mean,
so many people. I mean, hey, it happens in the UK. We know this. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip were cousins. Like, it's a thing that does happen culturally. And our society, here's the thing, is our society kind of dictates those things, right? Like, potentially in 50 years, we'll be cool with dating cousins again.
Okay, yes. Culturally, the whole thing around like culturally is dating your cousin appropriate or not appropriate. Like, I don't know. I'm not here to tell you that. What I'm here to say is dismissing family by saying, oh, she's adopted. They're not really family. Weird. By the way, that sucks. And you're not even right. Because adopted families are families. Yeah. Second of all, here's the thing. Clearly, they've acknowledged that it's weird in the moment when Porsche says, why would you do this to us?
I mean, but here's the thing.
When Porsche says that, he's acknowledging that, like, hey, like, this is not okay. And you knew. He basically, in that moment, Porsche was like, me and Kinn didn't know. It's not our fault. Right. He's like, you knew.
This show, here's the thing I will say. This show was exceptional because just like You're My Sky has spawned hours of conversation about what is right, what is wrong, who should do this, who should do, like, the arguments. I mean, KinnPorsche would trend on Twitter for days after because people would still be having these conversations surrounding these characters and their actions. And what, I mean, that's the mark of a good show, right? Is that, like, good in the sense that, like, popular, having a conversation, whether or not it's, like, good or not is a different story of, like, all the details around it, but it's continuing a conversation for days after an episode airs. So, like, props to you for putting out a show that kind of, you know, changes the conversation.
Here's what I will say. I think KinnPorsche is beautifully filmed and beautifully made. It is one of the most well-made shows of the year. I mean, like, it's up there. We were talking about it when we watched the finale. It's up there with, like, It's A and You're My Sky in terms of filmmaking.
Right.
Now, I saw some discourse on Twitter of people discussing there were certain shows like Secret Crush on You and You're My Sky that had really started to move the BL industry forward in terms of, like, storytelling, right? And in terms of, like, plot devices and, like, relationships.
Yeah.
And there was some discourse around, just as these shows were starting to move things forward, KinnPorsche comes in and sets things back with the same old tropes of, you can force someone to love you and I'll love you enough for the both of us, right? And, like, all of that.
It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. It, like, put something glossy on top of it.
And I thought that was really interesting perspective. I don't know that I necessarily agree that it like set things back in terms of storytelling. On some levels I do agree. On other levels I don't. I think it's really nice that we're getting, I think they've shown that there's a market for a grown-up BL that's not set in high school or college.
Right.
So it was just an interesting perspective to read and to watch that conversation, because on some level I do agree with that. I think that's right. Those same old tropes of, like, I'll love you enough for the both of us, and this, like, the violence of like, I'm going to force you to like me, and, like, and none of the relationships were healthy except for Tankhun and his carp. Those are the only healthy relationships in the whole damn show.
Actually, Tankhun and literally everybody else.
Yeah, Tankhun.
His, like, concern for Pete, his, like,
Tankhun is the only actual human in the show, right? And so, like, on that level, yes, I agree. On another level, I think KinnPorsche has done so much for the BL industry because they're showing that there is a market and there is demand for something different.
Yeah.
Which I'm so excited to see, because that was the same thing with, like, You're My Sky, is I was like, oh my God, it's different, right? It's still set in a university, but it's like it's not a university plot.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. I said that I think KinnPorsche would do really well in the States on, like, an HBO platform, because I think this is a show that would have a wider appeal to kind of anybody, because though the relationships are BLs, I think that literally anyone could watch this show and be into it.
Well, and I mean, so we, by the way, like, shameless plug, you could be a gang baby and you can watch us do live reactions. And so we did one for the finale, and Zach was in the room and he watched it, and he was like, he had all these opinions about the show, which I think is a mark of a good show, because he also had opinions about, like, Game Boys, which I think is a fantastic show. And he also had opinions about You're My Sky, which, again, Jude My Katong Fa, one of the best shows of the year.
Yeah, we will never shut up about that show.
Right? Like, the more typical traditional BLs, his only comments are like, oh, well, the sound effects were too much or something like that, right? Like, he didn't really have, like, real thoughts about it.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think the idea that like anyone can watch it, I think is the marker of a really good show. So like Tale of 1,000 Stars is another good example of this. My sister's at the time fiance, now husband, actually like sat down in the middle of that with us and like ended up being like so sucked into it.
Yeah.
But again, because it was different, right? Yeah. It's not. And so I think KinnPorsche did a lot for the industry in that sense.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see where we go from here, because here's the thing. It's not, KinnPorsche is not that different from any other show, because the source material, I love, somebody was like, y'all, KinnPorsche isn't that deep. It's just a what was it, like a Wattpad story from 2010.
Yeah.
Like the emphasis and the weight is put on the script writer and the production team to develop these stories, and we're getting some pretty quality production teams.
Right. Yeah.
The Nadal team who did It's A and I Promised You the Moon and You're My Sky, and
Jude
then
Tongpa.
Yes, and then this team who it's like it's three people who, I
mean, they're a creative house.
Yes, and have worked on other GMMTV things. And so that's where the weight falls on. You have a lot of these scriptwriters who you can develop a script without trying to cater to or pander to fans. Like, I think that's where we are as fans, is that we're like, okay, we expect more. We want more. We can handle more. If we can look at these,
well, that there's a market for it, right? That's the thing, is like, yes, it's not that different. It's a Wattpad story from 2010 for sure. There's so many stories like this that are different that exist. It's proving that there's a market for it, that there's appetite for it, that people will watch it, that you can get that Maserati spawn and they're going to make their money back on it, right? Like, it's going to be worth that. ROI for Maserati is going to be there.
I kind of want to rewatch KinnPorsche without all the extra conversation that I saw just daily going on social media. Because for me, I can't avoid it. Like, I am on social media daily, and that's my own fault. Like, I don't understand people who go on social media and get mad about spoilers, because like that's what social media is there for.
Right. Either skip it, like either scroll past. You can set on Twitter, you can set like mute words, like, or just deal with the fact you're gonna get spoiled.
It's where the conversations are happening. So like, don't go to where the conversations are happening, because you know they're happening. So
the only time I've ever gotten mad is when like Bilkin one time spoiled for me, and I was like, bro, the episode hasn't even been out for 24 hours. Like, be cool, man. Bilkin. Who else did that? Oh, Nut spoiled Dear Doctor for me.
Except he didn't. Bilkin didn't either, because I mean, I guess you knew they got
back together. Yeah. That's what annoyed me, is because anyway.
But everyone thought they got married, but it turned out
I never thought they got married. I was like, that's not happening. You crazy people.
You know, people are hopeful, I guess.
No, but Bilkin spoiled the end of I Promise You the Moon for me, and then Nut fake spoiled, faked me out. Yeah,
that was amazing.
On Dear Doctor.
So yeah, KinnPorsche, what a ride.
Yeah.
After 2 whole years.
That was a show. And I will say, here's the thing, that ending was a choice.
That was wild.
The
pacing. This
was an interesting show. Again, it was more than just a show I watched, but I will say I don't think it's one of the best shows that I've watched this year. No. Like, if I were naming the top 3, it's not in there.
No. We've gotten
some great shows this year,
and more to come.
Yeah. So if I'm naming a top 3, KinnPorsche. If I'm naming a top 5, actually, KinnPorsche is not in it. But it wasn't a bad show. It was like, I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. I thoroughly enjoyed being like, oh my God, like, am I watching this? Is this happening? I thoroughly enjoyed the actors. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to hear Jeff sing every week almost. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoid so much about it.
I enjoyed Jeff Satter kicking ass.
Oh yeah.
Put that boy in more action shows.
Okay, listen.
My God.
We normally don't but like, when Jeff is like hitting people, I just...
Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna sing the Kim and Porchay song at the Rycan FanCon?
I don't know, but I hope so.
I mean, I kind of hope he does Moment instead, because like, I'm an ingredient sucker.
Yeah.
Anyways, the one thing that I will say is just bad about this show. It's just not good. Not that it was like debatable or it was a choice or I personally didn't like it.
Yeah.
That ending was horrible. And I'm not talking about the like Marvel movie post credit scene because come on. Like okay. It was a cute scene, it was a great scene, but like I'm not in a Marvel movie with your post-credit scene. Okay. Like, I'm sorry, but like that device was a little bit much for me. I was like, this is a BL. I was like, ultimately, this is a BL on IG. Like, what? Come on. Like, this is a TV show on like, come on, a post-credit scene. Anyways, it was a really cute scene. It was a really good scene. I enjoyed the scene, but the actual ending, the way that the show ended, objectively was a bad ending.
It made no
sense. It was
sense.
not a good ending.
I mean, here's the thing.
That final scene, that was a poor choice.
Here's the thing is that when shows are setting up for season 2, and it's really annoying because you never are guaranteed a season 2. So like it'd be nice if you wrapped up the story well.
But it also, even if they're gearing up for season 2, it didn't make any sense. Like there was no she remembers, she doesn't, there was no cliffhanger of like Porchay being upset that his mom didn't, there was no, it was this very weird, like creepy.
It was creepy.
It was creepy. It was like truly like flowers in the attic, maybe dating myself a little bit with that one, but like weird, like incesty flowers in the attic situation.
Yeah.
It was a bad ending. It was just a bad ending. I don't know what to tell you. It's my hot take.
I think I appreciated Porsche becoming the lead of the Minor family.
I didn't. It felt out of character for him, so I didn't like it. But again, is it supposed to be that we're seeing him come into his own as a member of the family and like taking his birthright? Because if so, if he's claiming his birthright, you see my point. You see where I'm going with this.
Oh,
you can't have it both ways.
Okay, I think we should end there.
We have merch. You can buy it if you're not totally done with Let's Talk BL at this point.
I can't wait to see these comments.
We in fact have a t-shirt, a Gang Daddy t-shirt that was born of Trapped, but feels very appropriate for KinnPorsche. As we have mentioned a few times, some of the merch will be discontinued. I'm not going to tell you what pieces.
Wink, wink, nod, nod.
That you won't be able to get after season 2 ends. So if you like any of them, go buy them now. Some of you have, by the way. I've been seeing the merch orders come in, so thank you. Yay. We don't actually really make very much money. We make like $1. Yeah. But
so join our YouTube.
We just like it being out there. You can also join our YouTube. You do have to sign up on a desktop, but we think it's fun.
Also, tell us what you want us to live react to.
Yes.
Because there's so many options.
We're thinking about doing everyone's new favorite BDSM BL.
I know, we need to start that. I'm so excited. I've been dying.
And we'll see you at the Reichen Fan Con. We'll see you later this month. There's so many things happening.
Stay tuned for Jimmy and C. I'm excited.
I'm so excited about Jimmy and C. We can talk about this now. I'm so excited about Jimmy and C.
Yes. This has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL.